Who is Andrea Blackley? Andrea is a mother. She is a teacher. She is a student. She is a lover. She's a friend. She's a businesswoman. She is a God-fearing soldier that is still in a tremendous place of growth. I guess at my lowest point, obviously, was 2013, the end of 2013, the majority of 2014. I had come from, retiring myself as a school teacher, being very successful in the industry of network marketing. I'd become a multiple six-figure earner. Everything in my life had changed. It was like more significance, more recognition, all this stage stuff going on. I had gone from a Mazda 6 to a Mercedes. I had gone from the fake bags to the real bags. A lot of things had changed. And then in the midst of that change came another change to where I lost all of it. And in the midst of not just losing the material things, I lost myself. I lost myself along the way, and I wasn't aware that I was losing myself. I was becoming a person that really took the trust away from God, and I put more of it in man. And I saw the repercussions of that. Gradually, things were happening to get me to pay attention to what I was doing, but I wasn't paying attention. So I found myself in Tampa, Florida, alone. I don't want to say alone, but I didn't have any family there. Had a couple of friends. I had left my son here in Houston with his dad with the plan to get to Tampa. That didn't happen. In that whole process, a bunch of dynamics go into it. But I ended up losing that Benz. I lost my house. I lost my income. I lost my confidence, my self-esteem. I was really at a point to where every time the sun came up, I was upset about it. I wanted it to remain dark. I wanted to stay in the bed all day. I wanted to watch reality TV. I didn't want to do anything because I felt like it was over, obviously contemplating taking your own life, but I never knew that I always knew that I would not do it because I'm scared. But at the same time, I didn't want to live anymore because I didn't think that I was ever going to get out of where I was because I didn't understand how I got in. My relationship with God during that part, obviously I knew He was there. I knew that I could pray. I knew that I could do these different things because it was like I could call on Him, but I was afraid to do so because I felt like I was being punished. So at that particular time, I felt like God was whooping me. He was punishing me. He wasn't listening. He wasn't hearing. He wasn't seeing. He was allowing me to go through this dark time because apparently I had done something wrong. So the relationship at that point was me asking Him, what have I done wrong? I was pinpointing so many different situations, literally, to where, it was like, okay, who do I need to forgive? Who do I need to apologize to? Like, is it because I wasn't paying my tithes consistently? Is it, and I didn't know. And the word trust obviously kept coming into play. I can say that now, but I didn't recognize that then. And it was, well, I do trust you. But then all of these situations were being revealed to me to where I didn't trust Him. Because it was these things that I thought that only man could handle that He couldn't. Terrible. So that it started to lead me into focusing more on how to trust Him. And that was a hard thing to do for whatever reason because I was in such that deep space. But I would watch the movie The Bible. Right, like every day. It was like, maybe this will do something. Maybe He will see that I do believe, and I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to begin. And my grandmother would, send me scriptures and, things of that nature. But it was like rebuilding that relationship with him, because I was really upset that he had allowed me to, at that point I was saying that he made these things happen, but it was kind of allowing me to go through that stuff. So, yeah. Nicholas, obviously my only child, the only boy in the family on my mom's side, with the expectation of him coming to Tampa to live with me, and obviously with my financial situation that not happening, I definitely began to feel like just a whack parent. It was 7 years of his life that I was there every single day. That anytime he needed anything, I was there. And I made these plans for us to have a better life, and it all crumbled. Even though he was, I don't want to say too young to really understand, I was so grateful that he was not physically there to experience everything that I went through. So he didn't get any backlash. He had no idea what was happening. He had no idea about the car, about the house, about all these different things that were going on, because not to just protect him from it, but at that time I was like, it's something that he doesn't need to know anyway, because I would imagine how much more, oh my gosh, how much more terrible it would have been had he been there with me through this when I couldn't take care of myself. So I was still there to the capacity of, checking homework every now and then. But honestly, I was an absent parent, mentally, obviously physically, because I couldn't do anything for him. Now is at a point I couldn't buy school supplies. I couldn't buy school clothes. I didn't do parent-teacher conferences. I basically put everything in his dad's hand over a period of time, because as I was losing things, I lost my motherhood too, and so Nicholas is very resilient. He's a very smart kid. He's so loving, extremely loving. So he would always say nice and sweet words, and I don't know the conversations that took place between he and his dad about me, or my mom and him about me, or anything like that. And I would ask, every now and then, but it was tough. I felt really, really bad, but I couldn't let that be added to what I was already going through. I was like, he's in good hands. God is watching him. So this is what we have to deal with right now. I had gotten to a point to where I had just surrendered. I was tired of trying to figure it out. So with the fashion school, obviously with the career program, like I'm 38 years old, going into career services, like help me find a job. And I ended up working at True Religion Jeans for $9 an hour. And the process leading up to that was a lot. I had waited tables. I was a bartender. I was working at a club at night, because I was basically just doing what I had to do at that point. And when I was hired for True Religion, I had literally relinquished everything. Right? I was excited about working there, but at the same time, I was like, you're 38 years old with a college degree from Xavier University, who's earned 6 figures in the industry of network marketing, and now you're about to work in the mall for $9 an hour. And I was like, well, if this is where God wants me to be, this is where I'm going to be. And that's literally what I said, because I had nothing else in me to dig from or to pull from to try to figure out what the next step was. So I went to work, it was part-time, obviously, making $27 a day before taxes. Hello. $36 a day before taxes, $120 checks at the end of the week. But I was happy for some reason. I was having fun. It was cool. I was like, something's going to come out of this. One thing I can say is during that point, even though I was there, I knew that wasn't my final destination. And I said, if I decide to be grateful for just what is here, who knows what can happen, as opposed to continuing to complain about what I didn't have. And that was October 2014. That literally started like everything coming back. I just didn't know that it was about to start. It actually happened maybe 90 days later. He was more present. My trust was definitely there because I knew that I didn't have the answers. I just didn't. And even though it was all dark, right, or that process was really, really challenging, he still sustained me. I mean, I was never homeless. I was never hungry. I still had clothes to wear. I still ended up having a vehicle. It wasn't perfect, but I still wasn't as bad as I could have been. And so I look at, that's my message with him. I always say that God is gangster, because the way that he orchestrated everything that happened that makes my relationship with him today, and even, obviously today it's much stronger than it was then, because I only now know how to trust him. And whenever I'm out of balance or confused, it's because my trust has wavered. And you check it and you bring it back, and you get around people that remind you of that as well. But God he's everything to me, This is what's awesome. In the restoration process, right? You know how it's said that, God likes to do things to where he can only get the credit, right? So this is what's funny. Certain things would happen and I'd be like, okay, that was God, like God did that. But those weren't the wow moments, but I was trying to force them. I was trying to make them happen because I wanted to come out of that season. It wasn't until I moved to my next assignment and I saw what happened, in that time, to where I can only give all praise, glory, honor, everything possible to him. Like I can literally say that I was just the vessel, the instrument, right, of working the instructions that were given to me. But I can't take credit for it because there's no way that I would have thought about how to orchestrate all of this stuff that has happened to where we're even here today and I'm talking to you. No, and it's so much more to the story, but we don't have time for all of that. Because I've said this to a few people a couple of times. Not that I wish that anybody goes through a bad dark time or depression or anything. That I definitely don't wish that, but it's some incredible lessons that come from it in the event that you're chosen to take that route. And what I mean by that is that had I not experienced that dark place, the depression, the repossession, the foreclosure, the bankruptcy, the losing the income, all of these different things, some of them that I used to talk about theoretically, right, living vicariously through other people, but now I have a personal experience, so my compassion is in a completely different place. My understanding is totally, it's just, I have a totally different perspective on everything. So as things were coming back, right, things that I didn't ever think that I would do again, I found myself doing. And I said, God, if this is really what you want me to do at this point in my life, I need you to put the people in front of me. I need you to create the situations. I need you to really be at the forefront. I know I said this before, Jesus. I know I said that if you give me this and I'll do this and all of that, and I fail, But, the grace and mercy obviously is incredible. And it's like, that's exactly what he did. And he turned a switch off and he turned another one on. And literally that season of desperation, of devastation too, turned into the season of restoration. And he's like, everything that you've lost, you hear that all the time. Everything that you lost, it'll be given back to you, sevenfold, tenfold, 2 times over, whatever it is. It started to happen. And so these people started partnering with me, and it's just like, oh my gosh, okay, people are actually saying yes, like this is pretty cool. And then that yielded, a first check of $445, right, for like 24 hours of work. So I'm comparing $445, right, on one check, And I'm comparing that to how many hours I would have had to work at True Religion. And I was like, that's over 50 hours. And I don't get 50 hours in a week. I would work 13 hours a week, 20 hours a week. And that was before taxes. So I'm making these connections, and I'm kind of reconnecting with that Andrea that knows how to get back on her feet. And so I'm not saying that I'm, all got it all together now, but that definitely started something. And my first 30 days, in that business turned everything around to the point where I can take no credit, because the way God orchestrated was so gangster. So I came to Houston for a week and a half to get some training from a new company, just kind of getting the feel, wanting to learn everything. And I did not know that one-way ticket was going to keep me in Houston for 5 months before I ever went back to Tampa. Mind you, I had packed a suitcase to stay here for a week and a half. And I was here for 5 months. In 3 months, right? I got here in January. In March, I was forced to move into a brand new 2,200 square foot house, right? Are you kidding me? Okay, how did I get approved? Because I gave my right social. They had to do the credit check. I didn't lie about anything. The only thing that I had to show was income. And luckily the income, not luckily, but gratefully the income, I guess said what it needed them to say, to where they were like, you're approved. I had to go get appliances. And at first when I told them that I was self-employed, they were like, oh man, well, we're not sure, we can do this for you. We need to see proof of income. I was like, oh, I got some proof of income. I showed them the proof of income. They were like, oh, well, pretty much you can get what you want. So I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me? The same car that I couldn't pay a car note on, couldn't pay it on time rather, which I had gone from a Mercedes-Benz to nothing for 47 days, to a Fiat, right? Fiat 500. And my message on that, because people are always like, what are you going to do with that little car? Where are you going with that little toy car? I was like, first of all, she's Italian. Okay, that's number one. Second of all, it's not the size of the car, it's the size of the yacht. And third of all, I bet I can beat any of y'all at the gas pump. Whenever I said, I was like, do you know I fill up for $15? You mad? I know. Don't hate. So anyway, it was so fun. And I had to do these things, and I wasn't doing it out of arrogance, but I had to do it so that I didn't look down on myself, because I knew, what it was. And so, it's crazy that I couldn't pay the car note on that car, but now it's at the point to where I had to get my car shipped. It just started happening, and it was happening so fast that it was difficult for me to catch my breath. It was just like, oh my gosh, God, like you blessed, like this is gangster, and so it's just been absolutely incredible to see that it, that dark time seemed like it was forever, but it took less than a snap of a finger for him to turn everything around. I actually had the opportunity last night to ask my son what he wanted for Christmas. And for the last 2 years, I have not been able to do that. Last Christmas, because I was at True Religion, I had 70% discount. I think I bought him 1 pair of jeans and 2 or 3 t-shirts. That's all that he got for Christmas. And he was excited. He was happy about that. The Christmas before, I make jewelry. So I actually made bracelets. Right? I was making bracelets, and I had a jewelry party at my house and invited some women over, and I made about $500 at that jewelry party. Nobody knew what was really going on, but I used that $500 to buy a plane ticket to come to Houston for Christmas, because that's all that I had. It was the only way that it was going to happen. My car had been repossessed 5 days before Christmas. And my gift, if you will, was me. They didn't know I was coming. I didn't decide to come until the day before, so obviously that's why the ticket was so expensive. My son was really excited to see me, but that's all I had. Nobody knew what was going on. I was too embarrassed, obviously, to tell. I was ashamed of everything. I even got ridiculed by a family member. I won't say who it was. How dare you come to Houston and not have any gifts for your son? It was just like, wow. but I didn't even have the strength to retaliate. But yesterday, we were walking through Walmart, and I was like, so what you want for Christmas? Hurry up, tell me quick. Like, because you have Christmas every day. You have Christmas every week, you know, because when things started to come back together, guess what? I had to replenish his entire wardrobe. I mean, everything. I'm talking about from underwear to socks to belts to shoes to everything, t-shirts. I mean, the furniture I had to get back, because when the house was foreclosed, sent some people to go get the furniture. Guess what? They never went and got it. So lost all of his stuff too. So Nicholas's life has been impacted in a way to where I'm having to teach him the lessons of gratitude, of appreciation for what's happening. But I wanted to redeem myself as that mother that not just buys stuff for your kids, but to be able to provide a whole person. Because if I don't take care of me, it's impossible for me to take care of him. But I share so many things with him, real life. I don't hide things from him. I let him know, yes, because he'll say things like, oh, we're rich and we're this. No, I have money. You don't have no money. But at the same time, because his dad was there during that time, and I was literally living off of Nick's child support, and his dad never gave me any issues with that, like never. He knew what was going on. We didn't have anything going on. So when I came back, and obviously his dad still, you know, pays the child support, but I don't ask his dad to do anything financially. No, I got it. You had him for like 2 years. Like, thank you. Like, well, hey, I'll buy this. Don't worry about it. I got it. Like, you contribute a nice amount of money, every month. But the amazing thing is to have that shift to where I literally put 100% of that income back to his son, to Nicholas, to where it does not go towards anything that has to do with Andrea. It is all Nicholas. And we worked for that. Nicholas recognizes that. Every time we go shopping or we do something, I tell him to thank his dad, thank me, but God, obviously. But at the same time, I want you to appreciate how this is happening. Do you see mommy working? You see how we built all of this stuff back up? We had to work to do that. But I see the pride that he has too, because he lights up, when he talks about me. My relationship with my parents is not strong. It definitely needs a whole lot of prayer and oil. But even in that situation, because I know that happens, I have vowed not to be that parent to my son. And I believe that our relationship is really, really getting stronger to where when I do get him things and buy him things, that I'm not buying his love. I feel like I'm showing him appreciation for still loving me when I didn't love myself. No tears. Yeah, he's a good kid. Yeah, he never said anything bad, like he was really, he is just unconditional. So we got a new car, and it was so funny because I called my Fiat Caliente, okay, which means hot in Spanish because she's red, and I think that I'm Latino in real life. My name is Andrea Santiago, and so anyway, I was, I built this business, with the Fiat. No shame. Here comes Andrea. Like, yep, I can fit in any parking spot. Haha. So it got to a point to where it's like, okay, income is there. Let's do a little upgrade. But I was really nervous about getting a new car because in the past, when I got new vehicles, it seems like stuff happened. But I felt comfortable in that situation, obviously making a better decision, business-wise, money-wise. It wasn't like an impulsive buy. I was looking at some things, didn't know what I wanted to do, if I wanted to get another Benz, and I'm looking at Panameras, and I'm looking at Cayennes, and, you know, but I wasn't doing it for the flash of it. I wanted to do it to celebrate Andrea, to say, like, you deserve this. This is cool. And so they had sent me, the company that I was getting the car from, they had sent me a picture while I was out of town of a black convertible 650i BMW. So I was like, oh, not really a BMW girl. But we'll see when I get back in town. So I go to the dealership that Monday, and I see her name is Hermosa, means beautiful. I see her in person, and I'm like, OMG, like, so you're telling me, like, I qualify for this car? Like, I can get this car. So she's black on black. She's real gangsta. Sports car, you know, just absolutely amazing convertible. And I still have Caliente. The Fiat is still in the garage. So it's one of those things, like, you go from having a nice car to not having a car, to driving a rental car, to getting a Fiat, which is a small car, which people talked about the car. You kept the car, couldn't pay the car note, then the car has to get shipped, and then it's time to get a new car, but you don't trade in the current car to get the new car. So it's still amazing, like, when I come home, I'm just like, hey, Callie, maybe we'll drive you every now and then. But there was something going on, this is ironic, with the BMW, with the fuel pump, right? And so luckily it was all covered under warranty, and they had to tow it, right, to the dealership. And so before that happened, I had gotten in the car and it wouldn't start. And so I was going to pick up Nick from school. I was like, really? So you're not, okay, so you're not going to start? Like, for real? You're not going to turn over? So I looked to the right. I was like, hey, Caliente. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus, because I didn't know why I still had the car. How awesome was it to get out of that car, go get in the other car like nothing had happened. So when they came to pick up the car, they were like, well, do you need a rental? Nope, I'm paying another note on that one right there. So it's been, first of all, your very first call, which was last January. Yes. And I was in that space. And so I remember getting on the call and, you know, so excited about what you're doing, because we always call Porshea Oprah. Like, it's just inevitable. You are Oprah. And so, you know, hearing the women, you know, get on the calls and hearing people's stories and, you know, hearing what other strong, powerful women, you know, that have accomplished great things or that are in the process of the accomplishment or that have overcome, you know, just some of these challenges, it really, several times, I'm like, I haven't been through nothing. Like, she did what? Oh, Lord, I would have just died, you know? And so it's so many stories. I always, well, now, I don't want to say always, but now I really say that everybody's story is significant. I don't care, you know, if you have a lot of money, you don't have a lot, that has nothing to do with it. At the end of the day, it's making the decision to allow your life to be a lesson for other people. And when Porshea came out with Straight Talk, Woman Talk, obviously we talked about it and how it came, and, you know, there was some resisting in doing it and, you know, a lot of uncertainty, and that seems to be how he just wants to treat us, you know, to give us big assignments and say, just do it, I got you. You know, and so to see what it's grown into, you know, to be able to, you know, celebrate somebody doing something so impactful that's way beyond yourself, even in the midst of growing, even in the midst of learning, you know, all these different things. I mean, it takes a courageous person to do that. But to see and hear, seeing obviously comments on Facebook and, you know, hearing women when they, you know, share their testimony, how it's helping the wounded, the scorned, the depressed, even those that are on top of their game. You know, perception is everything, right? So you can go to social media and see one thing and it be completely different, obviously, on the other side of that. But to even see it fall into what it is now with, you know, the When Dreams Collide and, you know, going around the country and empowering, you know, these people and, you know, doing the business principles and, the relationship with God, because we are kingdom citizens. And it's just awesome to see how God can work through other people, and you never know why a particular relationship, was cultivated, but for things to come full circle, and then you see what the purpose is. Hopefully that makes sense. So with the event coming, January 16th, 2016, 116, and the collaboration of all of these different personalities, all of these different backgrounds, all of these different cultures, all of these different belief systems, if you will, coming together for one main purpose, to speak truth. And if people don't get anything else from this event, which I know that they will, but if they didn't, I know that they're going to get truth. I know that there are a lot of people, a lot of women especially, that are out there that need us to borrow temporarily courage, temporarily borrow strength until they get their own. That in these devastating moments, to where probably many of us thought that it was just the end, and for whatever reason God has kept us here, now we have a duty. We have a responsibility to serve. And to see the excitement on social media about this event, to see the shares of the event, to see the comments, the people preparing, buying their plane tickets, getting things, it's in the calendar. I cannot wait to see how we leave the event. But because Porsha's intentions and her purpose, and she's being obedient, and she's following the instructions, and everything is spiritually aligned, and she's being told who to ask, and everything has a meaning. 333. It's just like it's so many different dynamics to it, to where how could you not want to be a part? I am Andrea Blackley. I am a gangster for God. I am a kingdom builder. I am a strong believer, and I am one of the 333.